I have to admit, even in its current state, this place looks rather impressive.
It looked like this part of the castell had taken some damage. The end of the passage was blocked off with rubble. It was the lower half of a green, barefooted statue. The corridor was overgrown and full of rubble. There were spent bullet casings lying amongst the rubble. What exactly happened here?
My guess is gunfire.
Large double doors blocked the way. The door was locked.
So, until you came here, you knew nothing about the castle?
Didn't know, wasn't interested. I better get back on guard in case anyone else shows up.
Your father needs our help, Eva.
My father needs rest, peace, and quiet. Not more of this Gnostic nonsense.
So, what did you find out?
Not a lot. Eva thinks her father's losing it. She doesn't have much time for Gnosticism. She's never been here before. In fact, Marquez never even talked about the place. As far as I can tell, she and her father never got on. She left home the moment she could.
I don't blame her. So why is she here now?
Marquez begged her, said he was in danger. I guess maybe I'll go inside and have a look around too.
Tell me if you find anything. I'm not having much luck so far. It was an old, weathered sundial. From the dial I could see that the main doors of the house faced north.
I do have one question. Well, this is more of an observation. We have two people with a gun. So why are they both facing out this way? Why not have one at the front and one at the back? And why are they on the ground level? You can see that this building has more than one floor. Surely you would be able to see more into the distance from a higher point in the building. I mean, I'm no expert, but I would assume that you'd be able to see and cover more ground from a higher vantage point and not hiding behind the walls.
The blue-colored statue was robed with a bald head and bare feet. The blue statue was missing its head. Only his robes and sandaled feet remained. The fountain had stopped working long ago. Eva looked like she meant business. Hello, Eva.
Signor Stobart.
Please, call me George.
I'd rather not. When are you and your girlfriend leaving?
Actually, she's not my girlfriend.
I don't know what your scam is, Signor. You may have fooled my father, but you don't fool me.
Well, I can sure see where you get your manners from. I have this aftershave. What do you think?
I think you should keep it to yourself.
I thought that I would start out with the most important topic.
Tell me about your father.
When my mother died, he brought me up.
As a Gnostic?
He tried to teach me that stuff, said I had a religious vocation. Turns out I didn't. On my 18th birthday, I left home and never went back.
Tell me about Rahman.
Apparently he worked here when he was a boy. A loyal servant, even though the family left and never came back. More fool him.
He's got an interesting line in burps.
You should feel privileged.
Really?
It means he likes you.
What does he do when he does not like you?
Tell me about yourself.
I left home as soon as I could, lived a bit, and now I own a bar in Marseille.
That explains why you know how to use a gun.
No, senor. I learned how to use a gun so I could get rid of vermin.
Eva was a real charmer. What do you know about La Malediccio?
My father has been obsessed by it all his life. He thinks it's full of secret messages. I think it's a crock of
Sure you do.
Crock of what?
Nico tells me you don't really know about Gnosticism.
Don't know, don't care. And I don't need saints and gods telling me how to live my life.
I can see why you and your father don't get along. So, you don't know anything about Gnostics?
They're a religious sect. They belong in the past. My father's obsessed with them, and that's all I know.
Cookie?
It looks disgusting. I'll pass.
Eva, meet Trevor. You don't have a problem with him?
No, my bar is full of them.
Here, these are for you.
I hate flowers.
I should have guessed that.
What's wrong with flowers?
Do these notes mean anything to you?
Some old religious texts. So what?
What do you make of this?
They're sketches of my father's painting.
The artist paid for the knowledge with his life.
Figures. That painting brings bad luck to everyone who gets near it.
This is your family, right?
Looks like it.
Do you recognize this?
It's my father's medallion. He said he lost it.
Yeah, he left it in Paris. Do you know anything about it?
When I was a kid, he never let it out of his sight.
Do you know anything about this statue?
I've seen a few of them lying around. I guess the fascists smashed them up in the war.
Nico was transfixed by the painting. What are you thinking, Nico?
The fireplace. It looks familiar.
You're right. You know what?
In Marquez's photo, his family was standing in front of it.
All right. I thought there was going to be more than that.
La Malediccio, back in its rightful place. But what were the clues?
Let's go and find out. We already know about this text here.
I wondered if the notes could help decrypt La Malediccio. The first passage read, "And thus spoke the accused. In this ritual we find succor. Clad in blue, the perfecti take the form of the spiritual and look towards the rising sun, toward the tree of knowledge. Clad in green, the credentes look the other way, towards the setting sun, where stands the tree of life." I wondered what it all meant. The second passage read, "And all shall know that the light of knowledge is blue, and that the light of life is green. For thus was the light of Eden, both blue and green, intertwined with the light of man to become pure." Knowledge is blue and life is green. Well, that was good to know. I wondered what color was the light of man. The third passage read, "Pure light, white light, pure light will win." So it was written in the old texts, affirmed by the Tabula Veritatis. And these were the accused's last words. Interesting. There was more about light, and somehow the Tabula Veritatis had a connection. Simeon would have known what it all meant, but unfortunately, Simeon was dead.
Right, so blue faces east, as that is where the sun rises. And that must mean the green statue faces west, as it is looking the other way. Oh yeah, down here. And we know that the door is facing north. Now, have I put these the wrong way around? I believe I may have done. So, green faces east. And blue faces west. Although for some reason this does not work. For some reason which I'm not quite sure of at the moment, we need to use the broken green statue on the left hand side.
Ah, what is this? A staircase. I never knew. We must go up. We don't have much time. Stairs. Always stairs.
Oh my God, look at this.
Georges? Georges! What's this? A piece of burnt paper with the word Wolfram. That sounds familiar.
Wolfram. I curse that name forever.
What do you know about Wolfram, senor?
Wolfram. I spit on the name.
So you have lived here for a long time?
All my life. My father served here before me. In fact, he named me after Senor Xavier's favorite saint, Saint Ramon, patron saint of the falsely accused.
That's nice.
Not really. The Moors put a padlock through his mouth.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess there's a lesson there for all of us.
Well, that explains why there is a saint here with a lock in his mouth.
What is Wolfram?
It was a mining company, run by a murdering swine called Gainen. In the Civil War, they backed the fascists. In return, Gainen was given soldiers to do his dirty work. They came here, brought their bloody war to this house, and killed Senor Xavier.
They shot Xavier? Senor Marquez's father?
I was just a boy, but I remember like it was yesterday. Shot him and his friend Hernandez, like animals.
Why did they come here?
They were searching for something, but they brought death with them. But there is one thing I have never understood. Xavier tried to escape through the library. But the library windows are barred. It is a dead end.
This Kenan, who was he?
He was Swiss, a businessman, and a murdering swine.
So what did he want here?
I don't know. When he wasn't torturing the locals, he disappeared to the library. Spent weeks in there, making notes and studying maps. His men, they crossed the whole of Catalonia searching for something.
Did they find it?
Who knows? One day, Gainen just disappeared. He never came back. An accident, perhaps, in the mountains. May his soul rot in hell. The soldiers didn't stay long to search for him. They hated him too.
This Ganon character, he looks remarkably like Ralph Fiennes.
The name Genan was familiar. He was the person who had tried to buy La Maledicción. A coincidence? Perhaps.
There is no such thing as coincidence.
So, when the soldiers left, you took back the house?
Yes. A few years later I returned and cleaned the place up. It broke my heart. I locked the library. I could not bear to touch Gainen's papers.
He cleaned this place up? Where? Maybe in here?
Can I have a look at the library?
No. I have kept it locked to honor the memory of Senor Xavier.
Please, this is important.
I lost the key.
You lost it?
That evening when I locked it up, I drank to the memory of Senor Xavier. The cellars were well stocked, Senora. It was a long night. I hid the key, then forgot where I hid it, so it is lost. That was all that was left in the morning. I haven't touched a drop since.
I needed to find out what Ganon had been working on in that library.
And we will. Most of what we can examine as Nico is pretty much just her parroting what George has said before.
George had always been good at disappearing acts. George, are you there? The grate had locked back into place. I decided to leave the painting for later. There was a crate of brandy amongst the mess in the great hall. Apparently Ramon drank them all. Must have been some night. The bookcase held old Catalan books. I wouldn't be able to read them. There was a row of shields displaying heraldic symbols. The scroll under the shield read, Tramp.
Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy Nico's voice. But when she's not offering anything new to what we've heard before, I'd rather just move on.
According to the sundial, it was mid-afternoonish. Eva looked ready to shoot anything that moved. Eva, I am glad your father is safe.
He's old and foolish. He shouldn't be here, but he wouldn't listen to me. I suppose he's still going on about that painting.
Well, yes. In fact, we decoded it.
You did?
Yes, we found a secret passage behind the fireplace.
What?
Your father and Georges went in.
What? That's ridiculous. He's an old man.
Don't worry, Georges knows what he's doing. So he always tells me anyway. Your father is looking very frail.
He's old, and he could do without people giving him the runaround chasing lost treasure.
Have you ever been inside the library?
No, I'm told it is locked.
The key is lost. Ramon says he hid it years ago and cannot remember where.
Shame.
Can you think of anywhere Ramon might have hidden the key?
What do you think I am, psychic?
Seen anything suspicious?
Apart from you and your American boyfriend, no.
He's not my boyfriend, you know.
Whatever.
They are both very quick to deny any kind of relationship.
Talk to you later.
Same to you, pal. Hi there.
An old apple tree provided shade. Shame that the goat's rope wasn't long enough for him to enjoy it.
Let's go and say hello.
Aren't goats cute? I do wonder why Georges has such an aversion to these noble creatures. Hello, little one.
Hello! Don't suppose you have any more of those rich tea biscuits? I've had it up to here with apples. I can tell you.
Mon Dieu, a talking goat? So it's true. Goats can talk.
Only when really animated.
Georges has a real thing about goats.
I know. Truth is, if it wasn't for George's fear of goats,
Yes.
we'd never get cast again, would we? Don't tell anyone, no, will you? Or terrible wrath will descend upon you, etc., etc., etc.
Until next time, my sweet.
My sweet. This interaction is only possible if you had fed those specific items to the goat as George beforehand.
The goat had been tethered. Seemed unnecessary. The gentle animal wouldn't have harmed a soul. A pile of old apples. Looked like the goat had been eating lots of them. A heap of old brandy bottles. Ramon must have been in the car on that night all those years ago. The old car must have sat there for decades. An old pair of shoes. Someone had been sleeping in the car, but long, long ago. The floor of the car was littered with keys from sardine cans. The dashboard seemed intact, but this old family car would never drive again. A 5T71. Extraordinary. The inside of the car was in a bad state. An old and very dubious pillow.
Dubious in what way?
In amongst the mess was an old book. I picked up what looked like an old diary. It was Ramon's. The library will forever be a shrine. No one will enter. I shall hide the key in a safe place. Once I've eaten. I have just what I need and know what to do. Oh, beautiful lady, your eyes are so blue. I just can't stop thinking of you. Ramon was quite the budding poet. Our lives are entwined like ivy on a tree. That is what you mean to me. Nice. Hey, I was reading that.
Wow, I was not expecting that.
Have you no respect for great art? Pretty indigestible, huh?
To be honest, I kind of agree with the goat.
The wind chime looked like it was made from old cans. I wondered if it was Ramon's handiwork. Despite the scrap components, the wind chime was beautiful. It was uncanny. One old sardine can was bulging slightly. I fished around. There was something in it.
A sardine?
There was something in that can. And there it was, the key to the library. I found your key.
I thought it was lost forever.
Do you want to be with me when I open the door?
No. Some things are better left in the past. And anyway, I must look out for Eva.
I just had a look at that old car in the garden. Looks like someone slept in it.
Me. When I returned, I couldn't bear the house at night. So, I slept in the car.
Do you know Eva well?
No, I only just met her. Senor Marquez brought her with him. They don't talk much, but she knows how to handle a gun.
Alright, let's get that door open.
An intricate mosaic adorned the floor. Ramon had been true to his word. This place was like a shrine.
I'm guessing that he buried the bodies? Well, the soldiers were still stationed here, so they must have disposed of them.
The table had been cleared. The old armor was in pride of place. Genon clearly hadn't moved it. The tapestry had been flung to one side. Ramon was right. The window was barred. I wondered why Xavier Marquez had tried to escape through the library.
Maybe it was because of a secret passage?
Books were still stacked neatly in the bookcase. More were scattered on the floor. A globe sat forgotten in a corner. I wondered if Marquez had played with it as a child. The huge trunk in the corner looked interesting. The trunk contained someone's personal possessions. At a guess, Genon's. I wondered what secrets they might hold. A pair of well-worn boots. A couple of old faded shirts, neatly folded. The hat looked battered and old. I wondered if it had belonged to the mysterious Genon. There was an old map at the top of the trunk.
How does she know that it is a map?
The map had interesting markings and scribbles all over it. Georges would be so jealous.